Welcome to the Gamigo Cosplay Contest, where you'll get the once-in-a-lifetime chance to bring honor to your pixel communities, glorify your gaming addiction, and do some unpaid advertisement for the evil publishing overlord. All you have to do is pick an outfit and join this epic competition. My name is Lou, and because I can't live without Fiesta Online, I chose to craft a feathery atrocity, more widely known as the 110-115 Sharpshooter Armor. In this video, I'll be showing you how I went from this to this in week 3 of my cosplay project. It was the week of the Dremel, a must-have tool for every craftsman and indeed cosplayer, because this is the difference between no Dremel, on the left, and a Dremel, on the right, working its magic on 2mm EVA foam. But first things first, when Dremeling EVA foam, wear protective glasses and a mask. And secondly, if you don't own a Dremel, ask your dad. I did just that, and jumped on a train with all my cosplay stuff to visit my parents. After doing some test Dremeling, however, I had to do some more prep work. The seams came first. I tried out both quick seal and foam clay to clean up the seams on my armor pieces, but I wasn't really satisfied with either, though I suppose I should have Dremeled the seams beforehand to get rid of the biggest bumps. Aside from that, the quick seal was better for longer seams, and the foam was pretty good on the very small seams on the decorations. After the seams were dealt with, the birds came next. I finished them by adding some metal wire so I can adjust their wings, using foam clay to hide the wire. I also attached the first bird to its shoulder piece. For that, I cut a hole with a box cutter, used a lot of contact cement, glued a stabilizing piece of foam under the bird, and covered up the hole with some more foam clay. Then came the boot covers, to which I added more decorations. This took quite some time. The last thing to prep were the feathers. I worked the edges with a pair of scissors and marked the details I wanted to work in with the Dremel, because I didn't trust myself to not Dremel them to pieces without this help. This process made quite a mess, and I had to go EVA scrap hunting with a vacuum cleaner in the entire house afterwards. But now that everything was prepped, I could finally get to Dremeling. Loads of it, and then I heat-sealed all of it with a heat gun, because I read on the internet that that is what you are supposed to do. And now I've done it, I can only advise you to do it too. I tried to make a comparison with my camera, but the difference doesn't really show in the photo. But it does show in real life. The heat smoothens out the rough edges that were left by the Dremel, and it also creates a smoother surface that's supposed to show after priming and painting. These are the results so far, and I'm very proud of them. Big thanks to my dad for letting me use his tools in his garage. Big thanks also to my mum, because she gave me my first lesson on a sewing machine, and I made some pretty edges for some scraps. I also used her lace bobbins to make some test lace. For the bigger lace decorations, I can easily buy myself some lace online. There is a huge selection to choose from, but I haven't yet found lace small enough for the smaller decorations, and so I think I'll have to do those myself later on. Now that all of these things were done, I threw the animals back into the basket, my project back into the suitcase, and myself back onto the train. When I arrived at home, my letterbox was spilling over. Lace, a black satin hairband, a wig cap, and some ears. Now, where is that glue? Wait, a wig cap? Am I going to get a makeover? Well, I already got myself one. In-game. Now, I really do look cutesy. Bye-bye, old look. Now, there was one part of the costume I hadn't yet started. The necklace, and I didn't really know how to craft it. With beads, with lace, where do I get a red crystal the right size that doesn't need a month in shipping time? I was absolutely clueless. I decided to try and DIY the crystal myself with epoxy resin, something I've never done before and that I've always wanted to try out. So I spent a lot of time online looking for affordable crystal resin molds that came with these metal bead caps that I'd need. And then I found some rhinestones. They are originally intended for sewing, but since they do have holes, I thought I could use them as beads instead. Quite by chance, I also found a pair of cheap earrings, the very day before my rhinestones arrived, that might create a perfect fit together with them. It would mean a lot less work than the resin, although I might still try making the resin crystals if I still got time at the end. This project is as good as an excuse as any to try out a new crafting technique, and I do still need the turquoise crystals for the ears. But for now, these earrings are perfect. And so, the next day, it was time to get out my beads and start experimenting with colors and different threading techniques. And after hours and hours of frustration, I was exhausted. But also, incredibly satisfied with what I had got so far. And then, because I was exhausted, I know I should have gone to bed or continued with a necklace, but I found some old jewellery in my beatbox which I'd never finished, and I wasted more time than I should have. But at least Prince Albus of the beatbox does seem very happy. So this week is up, and it's time to make plans for the next one. I probably should have taken a course in project management before starting with this cosplay. I don't want to end up with a half-finished project. But now it's time for you to like, comment, and subscribe, and wait for the next video. Or get out your crafting materials and make some cosplay, because that is a much more fun and worthwhile way to spend your time.